Hey, welcome back to another special edition of Strange Planet and my continuing journey with the miraculous blue bottle behind me there. This patented redox signaling molecule technology. There's nothing like it in the world that enhances your health, supports your health at a cellular level. And I take 8 ounces, 4 ounces in the morning, 4 ounces at night before bed. I continue to sleep like a baby, still no gray hair, and the mighty Aphrodite, she checks daily practically. Also, I can continue to report very healthy gums. I'm having some of the best, I suppose, dental health in my life. I previously, because I brush so vigorously, I tend to get some inflammation in my gums and some sensitivity. That's all disappeared. About 6 months ago, I went to get my eyes checked. I do that once a year. And my left eye, from the time I was, I don't know, maybe 9, 10 years old, it was diagnosed as due to lack of oxygen in the womb. It was about 40% vision. They didn't catch it in time. They said it wouldn't be corrected with eyewear. 20 years later, they said, oh, you should have worn glasses earlier, and maybe they could have done something. So 6 months ago, I go to the eye doctor, and there is a slight improvement in the left eye, which had never, ever happened in 45 years. So Asea, maybe. We can't make claims, but what else can I tell you? Oh, I started walking again. I walk about 4 miles a day, and I get up in the morning, and my calves can be a little stiff, my ankles can be a little sore, my tendons can be a little sensitive, but that quickly goes away. I would say within about half an hour of being up, they're just back to normal, and that's one of the other things that Asea has seems to be able to do. This redox signaling molecule is to enhance your recovery time from if you're into sports. So we're going to get into that and much more with a good friend and part of the Asea family, Danielle Matthews, and of course, Danielle's mom. She's my mentor. Text her. The number's right there on the screen. Before you do anything else, she's your portal to this whole world of Asea and redox signaling molecules. And she'll direct you in the right place, help you navigate the website, which is right there on the screen as well. And please, as I always say, do not purchase Asea from a third party, certainly not from Amazon. But before you do anything else, text Lynn at that number right there on the screen. Having said all of that, we welcome back Danielle. Danielle, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me back on, Richard.
What I mentioned to you earlier about let's start with the recovery time after like I power walk. It's 4 miles and it's a vigorous walk. I'm tired when I get home, but in the next morning, within about a half an hour, no stiffness, no soreness. What is the research about these redox signaling molecules from Asea? What does it tell us about that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. That was one of the first things my family noticed. So my dad, my mom's husband, right, Paul, when he started using the Asea, he works out every day like you. And he was like, wait a second, I'm not sore. And he was feeling like he could do more. He's like, I'm wanting to row further. I'm wanting to run further. Like, what's going on? And this is back 2014. And so he started looking at like, well, what's the research on this? And interestingly, because this is a supplement, we can do structure function studies. We can't do studies about like specific diseases or illnesses. But one thing we can do a lot of research on is athletic performance, because that it doesn't, make a claim. And so they did some research looking at mice, and they put them on like a wheel, and had them run themselves to exhaustion. And
That's
they kind
me. I'm the mouse on the wheel.
that's how we all feel, right? And so they did this with the mice, and then they took a group and they put them on Asea, the redox, and then they took another group and put them on just saline. And a lot of people say, like, isn't Asea just salt water? Like, well, no, it's not salt and water anymore. It's reformulated. But they did this study, like looking at mice on salt water on Asea. And after 7 days, they had the mice go back on the wheel and run to exhaustion again. Now, the mice on the Asea went 29% further before hitting their exhaustion point, which is phenomenal if you think about. And so of course the question is, well, why? What is it with the redox that made them go further? And they studied and they looked at, they were sparing like 31% more of their muscle glycogen. So what does that mean? When we're working out and we're using our muscles, we burn the glycogen for energy, and that can start to build up lactic acid in our system. And that's when we hit that wall. Like that's the soreness we feel. That's when we're like, oh, I'm done. It's because lactic acid starts to build up. Well, evidently, when drinking the redox, it starts to shift your body into fatty acid metabolism. And so your body starts to burn a different energy source before it burns the muscle glycogen, which means lactic acid doesn't build up as quickly. So your body is literally able to do more. And for athletes, it's phenomenal. I mean, that's why they've got Olympic athletes on this. It's approved by WADA, the Anti-Doping Association. They also have NSF Sport compliance, which basically means this product doesn't have anything in it that's illegal. Everything that's in Redox is already in an athlete's body, so they can use it to enhance their performance. And I think what's really cool, a lot of athletes will say, look, I love the fact that it helps me do more, like stamina, endurance, like I can perform better. But the other piece they always say is my recovery time. And that's, I think, like the fascinating piece as well, because what we know about redox is that they're just signaling where there's damage and allowing the body to, hey, come over to this area and repair it. So when we work out, when you go on your walks, when my dad, was doing what he does, someone's lifting, whatever it is, you're breaking down your muscle, which we all know, so it rebuilds stronger. Well, those muscles are just muscle cells. And if you're taking redox and the alert goes out faster, stronger, clearer, those muscle cells are going to repair faster, which means that your recovery time shortens, which is phenomenal for people. I mean, especially high level athletes that are needing to constantly be training. If they can shorten their recovery time, it's huge. But even for like average people like us that, we don't want to feel sore after the workout. I do have some people say, well, I feel gypped because I like to know that like I did a good workout yesterday, and
Right.
I
No pain, no gain.
exactly. So, but sometimes you don't, because the body's recovery is that quick. And I don't know if you've ever dabbled with this. Like I worked with some Olympic athletes, and so I really started to like dive into the Asea community, like, well, who's using it for what and how are they using it? And so what I learned is that like with an athlete, they take, standard in the morning and at night, but they also do the redox pre-workout and post-workout, again, to help with the endurance during and then to help with the recovery after. And many of them use the gel, the Renew 28, on their muscles, pre-workout and post, again, to bring blood flow to the area, to help the muscles so they can do more. And then again, recovery time at the end, so that they're not feeling, what we all feel after we work out. So pretty fascinating, the different applications of this. And it's fun to hear that you yourself are experiencing it.
Yes, and so I'm going to test this out a little bit, and I'm going to start. I'm preparing. I'm thinking about running in Athens in November. It's well, I'm not going to do the marathon. That's maybe one day, but I'm not ready for a marathon. But I'm certainly going to try the 10K, and my two sons are going to run that with me. So I'm trying to build up to that, and I'm going to start, pushing myself. Maybe next week my walks will be 5 miles or 6 miles, and I'll continue to update everyone on how that's going with the Asea. What about what's happening with my left eye? And actually, both left and right stable. I haven't had a new prescription for a pair of glasses in 2.5, maybe 3 years. Now I haven't been taking Asea that long, but what any research with regards to eyesight?
So I don't have any specific research on eyesight, but here's what I can tell you. Like people get very creative with the redox. I have people that spray the liquid in their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't rub the gel in your eye because the gel has a silicate, so it could scratch your cornea. You can put the gel around your eyes, but not on the eyeball. But the liquid, totally safe. So I have some put it in like a mister. You can get a nano mister or a nebulizer. They mist it into their eyes. I personally use an eyedropper. I drop it in, and there have these like eye cups. So you can like do a wash where you literally just put the Asea in it and you just blink your eye and like leave it there. You are not the first person to tell me, and I hear it many times, that eyesight is improving. And it's like, how is this possible? Like I have people that don't need I think you've met Debbie Wexler. Like she doesn't need her glasses anymore, which is crazy. I'm like you, like my prescription just I haven't needed a new one. Like now I've been on the product for 8 years myself. And every year I used to go to the eye doctor. Every year I had to get a new prescription because they just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
Right.
And now it's just completely plateaued. I have people tell me, like, I don't know if you have those little like floater things where you see things in your eyes.
Not yet. Not yet.
Good. I've had people tell me though that using the Redox in that way, now they don't have these floaters. I've had people that go and get their eye pressure tested. And even, I mean, it is like wild, some of the stuff they do. They put needles like in the eye and have to inject stuff. I have people that now that procedure they're not having to do. So
sorry, my mother-in-law has macular degeneration, and she needs a needle in her eye, both eyes, once a month. I can't even imagine.
She needs to start with the Redox for sure.
Yes.
If she's open to it, because that's the same thing. My grandmother had that. And I hear great stories. Now, how long does it take? It depends, right? But if you can get, the closer you can get Redox to an area, here's what we do know, is that when there is damage, an alert goes out. And that alert call lets the system know to come and repair the damage. And what we know is that as we get older, we have less of this alert call. They're the redox molecules. And it shows us that about 1% less a year after puberty. So I think decades, that's like 10% every decade. So by the time, you're in your 60s, that call for help is weak and the body's not hearing it. So maybe that's eyesight, right? For a lot of people, what happens as we get older? Well, little kids typically have really good eyesight. As we get older, we see that start to decline. So what's happening? Well, the signal is weak. So if we could reinstate the signal, wouldn't that then mean that that would get repaired? Yes. And so what would the result of cells in the eye getting repaired be? Well, not having the pressure issue, right? Allowing for the job of the eye to actually be done again, where it can focus in where it needs to and not needing the lens or some sort of prescription. So it's one of these things that, like, the body is just trillions of cells. And what's so cool about the Redox is that it's non-specific. So it's not like it's designed to go help cells in your eye to repair. Like that shot that your mother-in-law has to get, that's designed specifically for something in the eye. This is non-specific. But if you can get it near the cells with an issue, those cells are going to have a clearer call for help. Those cells are going to be able to get repaired. And then the result of that, will trickle up to whatever tissue that cell is involved with, which is why we see all the beautiful things that we see.
Remarkable. All right. A note to self. I'm going to get Lynn to send me one of those atomizers or spray bottles for Asea. And while I think of that, just a reminder again, please text Lynn if you're intrigued by what you're hearing, if you want to explore further, if you want to, help a friend or a relative or yourself, text Lynn. The number's right there on the screen, and also check out the website. It's there as well. But before you do anything, text Lynn. Now, there's a new product from Asea, this clay mask you were telling me about a little bit earlier. This is brand new. Mm-hmm. What is this all about, this clay mask?
I'm excited because to me, redox signaling is the breakthrough. And Asea has some other products that are really good, but they're complementary. Like good nutrition, good skincare, all to work synergistically with redox, but they're not the redox signaling. And the clay mask, which it's like this cute little tube, has redox signaling in it, which this is the first time we have a new redox signaling product in, I think, since like almost 9 years. I mean, it's like phenomenal. So it took them over 200 tries to make this because the redox, as we talk about so often, like these molecules are very reactive to anything organic. And so anything you put near it causes the redox to start to go. So they had to figure out right concentrations, et cetera, et cetera. What's in this clay mask, and for those of you, I didn't know what a clay mask was. Beauty is not my specialty, okay? So when people say clay mask, I'm like, what does that even mean? Well, it literally, like you put this on your hand and it comes out. It's a little brown, and you rub it on your face, and it becomes pretty much like clear, and it stays on your skin for 5-10 minutes. And the two ingredients that make a difference in this are the redox signaling, obviously, and bentonite. So they were able to get bentonite, which is a volcanic ash that for, I mean, like thousands of years, like civilizations have used it. And what's cool about bentonite is it pulls out impurities. So your skin, when you put this clay mask on, it literally starts to pull out impurities. And then you have the signaling molecules, which go in and do what we were just talking about. They signal for repair. So any damaged skin cells start to get repaired. The body's natural, renewal process is kicked in. So when you take this mask off, like I was blown away, first use, and my skin felt incredible, like felt softer, looked better. And then I started, like, this is just available in the US. So for you Canadians, I apologize. We'll get some to you, Richard, but you have to order it through the US. And what has blown me away is people are so creative with how they use things, right? So I have people that have like, oh, I put this over a blackhead, pulled it out. And I'll send you these pictures because they're amazing. Like there's a woman that put it on her feet. She said, she had like, what are those called? Like varicose veins, like veins that you can like really see in her feet. And she did the mask on her feet, and the before and after of just one application of the mask. You can see like the skin it's amazing. So it gets rid of oils. It just brings everything more vibrantly to the surface. And I know Redox is good. There's a reason for 8 years I've been just thrilled to talk about it. But to see a product like this that's giving people immediate results, I think we live in a instant gratification society, unfortunately.
For sure.
And this is instant gratification, using this. And they recommend this little mask that I have here. Like this is not one use. This is many uses.
Right.
This they say will last about a month if you're using it 2 to 3 times a week. You don't do a mask daily, but you can do the mask and then, maybe a couple times a week, put it on to rejuvenate. And
so is that a 2-step process, the mask, and then you put on the gel or whatever you're using with the Redox signaling molecule?
So the Redox is already in here.
It's all in one step.
Yeah, it's already in here. If you wanted to double up on your Redox, you could put the Renew 28, you could put something on after, but this already has the signaling in it. So you don't need to. It's literally, that's your step.
Fantastic.
Yeah. If you want to maximize, of course, like as we know, you can never do too much Redox. It's never a problem to get too strong of a signal. Things just turn over faster. So play with it. I mean, that's what I always tell people. Everyone's skin is unique. So play with what, your skin responds best to. But I've been blown away. I mean, Richard, like it's exciting to have a new Redox signaling product. And what I love about Asea, during the pandemic, they, because we couldn't get together in person, et cetera, they used to do events all the time. And they said, okay, well, all of that expenditure that was on events, let's pour it into the product. Let's pour it into research. Let's develop some new things. And so this was born from that. It was born from them doing some research on, hey, what else could we do? What is possible? And they're continuing, to do this research. They have a lab there on site. They've hired some incredible PhDs, chemical engineers, that kind of thing. And it's really neat to see what they're coming out with.
There you go. That just speaks to the values at Asea, where maybe another company, they're not going to put that money into a conference. Hey, we'll give that to our shareholders, or a nice bonus for our executives. That's what Asea is all about. People before profits, and that's why I'm so pleased to be a member of the Asea family, and why I encourage you all to explore further. And that begins with a simple text. Just text Lynn. The number's right there on the screen. Danielle, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for this.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. And guys, I would really encourage you, talk to my mom. Lynn's amazing. The idea is just, we want to make sure you get started properly with the right amount for what you and your family have going on. And mom's brilliant at doing that. She guided me through that whole process 8 years ago, and has helped many. So I hope you reach out to her and get the support you need. This is, it's truly a blessing. And this clay mask, while it's only available in the US right now, because of the response, like it's sold out. They did like a limited time offer, and the thing like sold out. So they said, okay, they switched the production. They said, we will produce more of the clay mask, and they're looking to get it approved in all of the countries now that we are open in. They just have to go through the right channels to do that. So
fantastic. Oh, that sounds like an amazing product. Can't wait to try it.
A new Richard Syrett's Strange Planet drops every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe at strangeplanetpodcast.com.